I'm all for games about ripping out spines and doing backflips, but every once in a while it's nice to sit back and relax with something a little slower paced, where instead of taking care of Nazis, you gotta take care of all these dang weeds. Over the last few years, we haven't exactly been spoiled for choice. We've got Stardew Valley, which is phenomenal in its own right, but it's just not the same as Animal Crossing. I've spent hundreds of hours in each game, fishing, catching bugs, hanging out with pals. It's also been 7 years since the last title released, by far the longest we've had to wait for a new game. So long as you don't count this one, or this one, or this one. I know I don't. Animal Crossing, for the uninitiated, is kind of hard to explain. It doesn't have levels to beat or bad guys to kill, except maybe capitalism, but that's beside the point. It's a life sim with a persistent world, utilizing the internal clock on whatever console you're playing on. So if it's Christmas in real life, or at least your GameCube thinks it is, then it's Christmas in the game too. The main goal in every game is simply to have nice things. A big house, nice furniture, sick threads. But money doesn't grow on trees, usually, so you have to earn your fortune by fishing, catching bugs, finding buried treasure or items stuck in trees, and selling whatever you can find to the local general store. Every game has followed the same basic structure: move into town with no money, go into debt to a raccoon, short tutorial, then you can do whatever you want. I usually try to earn some money to pay off my mortgage or buy a totem pole or whatever. This structure has finally shifted with the newest entry, Animal Crossing New Horizons. This game has pushed the concepts of building friendships, your home, and the village to its logical conclusion. You don't come to town with no money, you come to a completely deserted island. It's a blank slate. No roads, bridges, or homes. It's entirely up to you to take this small, desolate piece of land and construct a village. It can feel overwhelming, but you'll make the journey one step at a time, and finding a place to call home and crafting some basic tools is a good start. By completing basic tasks like collecting items, talking to villagers, and finding some food, you'll be earning 2 kinds of currency. Bells, the game's main currency, by selling surplus items to the Nook Twins, and a newly introduced tender, Nook Miles. With bells, you're able to purchase exactly what you'd expect: clothes, furniture, etc. Nook Miles, on the other hand, tend to focus on the new DIY crafting system and developing your town. Using this kiosk, you can buy new recipes to craft and items that can be used for the betterment of your village as a whole, which isn't to say that you can't put a streetlight in your living room, but why would you? As soon as I heard the new Animal Crossing would have crafting in it, I was pretty weary about its inclusion. Ever since Minecraft, it seems like every other game has tried to work in some kind of crafting system, the gameplay of which comes down to pressing a button in a menu. End of the day, the impact these systems have is largely just you foraging for crafting materials a little more often. In most games, these mechanics don't need to exist. You could replace the crafting ingredients with bullets or arrows and get rid of this menu entirely, because I'd much rather be spending my game time running, or jumping, or shooting than searching through blown out buildings for gunpowder or bottles of alcohol. I feel that in order for a game to have meaningful crafting mechanics, the act of foraging itself needs to be engaging. It's why it worked in Minecraft, and this tight little franchise was all about foraging from the get-go. The best way of earning money is by gathering fruit or seashells, shaking trees for items, going fishing or catching bugs, and selling what you find. The act of foraging is the game, so by adding crafting materials to this already existing equation, an engaging crafting system is created. You're already spending your time chopping down trees, so why not give the player some resources to craft with while they're at it? These new currencies and materials add a unique layer to Animal Crossing. You used to just make money, buy tools, use those tools to make more money, then buy furniture or whatever, and that's kind of it. In New Horizons, the general store exclusively sells the lowest quality tools that tend to break after only a few uses. By spending some valuable iron or wood on these tools, they can be improved to last substantially longer, but not forever. You're not going to spend hours walking up and down coastlines, catching and selling over and over. You're forced to interact with all of the game's systems. You might be able to fill your inventory before your pole breaks, but now you're posed a question. Do you buy another from the store or build one yourself? Stock up on flimsy rods or spend some hard-to-find iron to make one considerably more durable. But if you spend all that iron, you might not have enough to craft something new for your town. Fountains, fences, giant robots, even Nook's Cranny, the general store, requires 30 iron ore from you before it even begins construction. And while we're on the subject, watching this deserted island slowly become a town is immensely satisfying. You start with literally nothing. The only way to get around is with a ladder and a vaulting pole. The only stuff you can buy place mail order furniture and clothes, and you live in a tent. Finally, building infrastructure rendering these items obsolete is incredibly rewarding. You've spent so much time with these things clogging up your inventory, having to swap to them every time you want to get to the other side of a river or on top of a cliff. It's liberating finally being able to put these items away. The game doesn't hold your hand in building your town either. One location for a bridge might make sense at first, but once you have more of your town outlined, you might wish you'd pick somewhere else instead. But it is okay because nothing is permanent. You can move around stores, homes, bridges, and inclines if you've got the cash for it. It's funny how even with the massive overhaul to the structure of the game, it all still comes down to having enough money. And earning that money is shockingly similar to every other game, considering the otherwise sweeping changes. Catch fish or bugs, find item in trees or buried in the ground, the bell rock, glowing spot, money tree. These mechanics have remained largely the same in concept, but received many substantial quality of life improvements in execution. Your encyclopedia now tells you the exact conditions you'll find each critter in, where to find them, and if you've donated one to the museum or not. A drop box was added in front of the general store, so you can sell items outside of business hours. The tool wheel lets you select one of 8 items instead of having to fiddle around with your inventory. The addition of crafting and change in structure is what dragged me in, but it's the quality of life changes and small additions that really impressed me, like how houseplants react to an oscillating fan, rain running down the window, or the addition of radios that play different music throughout the day, even old soundtracks from previous games. You're given just a little more freedom in interior decorating, being able to move furniture half units and adjust height of wall-mounted objects, and that is exactly what it needed. Best of all, you're finally able to decorate how you would inside, outside. Every other game has this arbitrary rule that you couldn't place any furniture outdoors, and it only ever made sense because that's just how things always worked. But allowing these items to be used in any context allows you to truly make this island your own. Your yard isn't just the flowers around your house anymore, your yard is what you make it. Whether it be a place to get together with friends, or a garden to tend to, or a place to relax on your own, or maybe it's the place I'll put the giant robot I'm working on. Animal Crossing New Horizons has exceeded every one of my expectations. I'm kind of shocked at just how much I'm enjoying the game, and I was already a fan of the series. It is a sequel in every sense of the word, making objective improvements on every single one of its systems, and including meaningful new mechanics that complement existing ones. By no means is it a perfect game. It'd be nice to have a craft all option in the menu, or to have the sell price display in the store like it does on the drop box, or to know exactly how much durability tools have left. But every problem I have with the game is an incredibly minor issue that could easily be addressed in an upcoming update. As far as I'm concerned, this is the best game in the series. New Horizons should be sitting beside Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild on every Switch owner's shelf. Even if you're not a fan of older games in the series or life sims in general, you owe it to yourself to play this game. And I'm only a week in. I haven't even gotten terraforming unlocked. Do you know if Crazy Red comes back? I have no idea. I should probably re-review this game in like a month or so to see how I feel about it then. We'll see.